Okay, we should be on live, and everybody, thank you all for being here. And today in Shambhala, it's a little bit snowy. It looks like this. Yeah, lots of cold out there. Lots of animals freezing. Not uncommon here. Here's another one of them. Our beautiful yak. Yeah. Very common if you live in Tibet and things like that. This is not a bad day. It's kind of seasonal. It makes them very happy. So that's Shambhala today. Good weather. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of an enormous amount of shift in from ecology to economy, and that it's going to take a while for humanity to kind of catch up with the opportunities, and they're not going to go away. They'll still be there 5 years from now. But the deal is that they're here, and that due to certain states, certain Alabama, Mississippi, certain states that really don't see themselves as high-tech, ingenious kind of individuals, like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and even though there's no difference between them and California, yeah, their only difference is their history. How many slaves did you own? How long has this been going on? How long did you sit inside of a cultural identity and you never get out of it? You get into all these weird taboos and behavioral situations. Mississippi, Louisiana, all of that got like that. So it really slowed down their mind, their inner consciousness and mind. So that's the reality is that we are the United States, and every state is responsible for providing electricity for every house, and that every house is to be the one who provides that electricity. That's just how it's going to be worked out. We'll all have batteries in our garage or in our house, and we'll all have solar, and the collective amount of electricity that comes in will be far more than what we need. It'll charge our car, it'll run every single thing that we can possibly put in our house, and it ain't going to charge us a dime. Because it's just so, as time goes on, solar cells will be so cheap, and batteries will be so cheap, and that their ability to last 1,000 years rather than just 10, 20 years, and the ability for us to begin our process of accepting the fact that we're not in poverty consciousness. We're not settled into the industrial life that we used to be in. We're in the industrial period. At that time, there was no money. Everybody was hoarding that money, creating PG&E and railroads and cities and coal mines and all this greed, and they used people in order to get that. So there really was very little chance even for education, let alone the ability to further yourself. You get stuck for maybe 2 or 3 generations in a coal mine, maybe 5 or 6, and then we're just now coming out of them. So there's not a lot of education in the background of those people. They don't go, well, I'm not going to go in a coal mine. I'm going to go on to college, and you can't watch the movies. Let me tell you, it does not go down well. Yeah. And even though in the coal mines is where we've received some of our best NASA engineers. In the very beginning stages, they were building rockets, little kids, even though their parents were in the coal mines. So we have hidden inside of every single state, a consciousness inside of human beings that needs to get liberated, and we're all going to incarnate inside these limited groups. So it's that part of us that is going to break out, and we need to know that the Lord is providing everything for everybody in order to take this opportunity and not be, no one's ever going to get stuck again. No one's ever going to get in a position to where, oh, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I don't know anything. We reincarnate in very dumb states, very limited states, because we were put in very limited states in previous lives. So it carries over. And once we, as a compassionate, empathetic group, begin receiving the Lord's blessing, then everything changes dramatically. Right now, we're in the process of, in the United States, we're in the process of facilitating large numbers of people who are homeless, in large communities, small little homes and all kinds of things in order to provide for this homeless situation. Where before we would just go, well, okay, we dumped them there, and we created this situation, and we ended all these businesses, and there was all this housing shortage and all this housing problems, and those intellectually we think of those are the cause. But in reality, the cause is what it is. It's the process of us coming out of it. The miraculous reality of coming out of this is where we're at. It's not about how hard it has been or anything like that. That is just what it was. We can't do anything about it. But we have opportunities that are at hand that far outweigh anything that's ever happened in the past. So we can't go, oh, I wish I can go back and fix that, get somebody to treat me right, get, all these kind of things that, psychologists tell you need to do in order to get yourself straight. But it's not that. It's about the Lord. It's about the work of the Lord present in the world. And revelation helps get you on track in that process so that masses of people, are moving into this job opportunity. Major job opportunity. Whether or not you're going to be putting together batteries, you're going to be putting together electric cars, you're going to be putting together solar panels, you're going to be putting together, new types of houses that are totally has to be changed or upgraded because people's consciousness have gone up, and our opportunities are cheaper and more economical. So when we take these scenes where we start putting solar on, we start doing these things, start buying electric cars, we stop going to the gas station. We never thought about that. We don't think about what's going to happen because we don't have the vision of the revelation that comes with the Lord yet, but that's going to happen. And that will instill inside of people the real reality of happiness. It's provided by and so abundant, that an inner happiness takes place. You don't have to sit with faith or get your shit together or work out all your demons and all that kind of stuff. It's worldwide. It's provided by the Lord. And we all begin seeing this. We're all on the same clock. The Lord is the clock. We all enter into 2025 on the Lord's birthday. So we're on His time, His clock, His resurrection, His ascension. So all of that goes on, we call time. So every time, every year, every month that passes, we're in the Lord's grace. And it may have been shit back in 1650. Because the Lord was dealing with masses of demons worldwide. And all they wanted was war and hostility and aggression, and they wanted to be kings and queens once again. They wanted to be the gods that they used to be. They wanted to be all these things of the past. That when the Lord's here, you can't do any of that. Zero. And then it turns one day. It turns. And everybody starts attaining happiness. Because they can actually see the working out of a plan. So, just in 1945, up to 47, we were all really aggressively hating Germany, hating Hitler, hating everything that had to do with it. But we didn't really know the history of Germany before that. These are all people. Russia, people. China, people. And throughout time, there is goodness there and there is badness there. And in the process of Germany, what part of us is going to see through that darkness of the past to see the light inside of Germany or in Italy or in France or in Denmark, or anywhere in the world see the light inside of them and have that light start reaching forward to save the world rather than dominate it and destroy it. Yeah? Yeah? So where would be the first place? That the major number one group of people that all gather together by the millions in order to take on ecology and take on solar and take on saving the world. Germany. Isn't that a trip? You'd never think that. You wouldn't think that. Yeah, but it's a working out of a plan. And when you're one of the last places where, you had Hitler and all the demons and all the sorcery and all the everything, and all the people were conjured up, and then you were then blessed and redeemed, and America came in and rebuilt your city. And the bad guys just built a wall. So, okay, you build that side, leave us alone. Yeah? And we kept coming back, saying, tear down this freaking wall. Yeah? We take the Beatles there, we take everybody over there. In 1960, the Beatles used to sing in Hamburg, and they used to sing there as part of the process of the new group of world servers. Yeah? Not because it's a bad place, because it's part of Europe. There's no reason to think of it as a bad place. Because we're all friends, European nation. Yeah? And it was healing. They used to be, just 20 years ago, which nation was out after which nation? Italy was attacking us, and France was down. They didn't want to do anything. And, England, well, oh my God, they're ready to take on nuclear war, if they could do it. Nobody trusted anybody in that European nation. Yeah. So right now, that European nation is number one in changing the world. Changing what? Ecology, putting in the largest wind generators, everything. Creating complete self-sufficiency, whether it be Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, Norway, all of them are number one in the process of taking on right relationship to world service. But yet, who in America is saying, yay, yay. But it's the truth. I'll show you. And in India, you think, whoa, boy, those are dumb people. They ain't got any money. How are they ever going to get ahead? What's going to go on there? We're going to have to pay for them. We're going to have to do everything to save their butts. Nope. They created some of the largest solar influences on the planet. And they have a lot more going on to build it. And then these farms are developing all throughout Europe. You can't even see the end of that. Yeah, and these aren't just solar farms owned by PG&E. These are set up by communities. A lot of them are set up by communities, owned by the community, because you can't put enough on your house to take care of your house needs with the way solar is today. So they get a large parcel of land. Yeah? Look how much solar it takes, but these people are doing it. They're putting the solar, all the solar, every single bit of their top of their house is solar. 139 countries by 2050 will be 100% self-sufficient. India is poised to become the third largest market of solar. Didn't I hear everybody say they are the stupidest, downright, slowest group of people on the planet? Dumb. They're not. Look at this. This is out on the ocean. Wasted water. Yeah. And where there's not solar, there's wind generators. And this is all around the Arizona area. This is a large, what used to be a farming community, now is solar farming. Massive. They have so much solar now in China, they make it in the design of a panda bear, just for the kick of it. Just so you can see it as you're flying by. It's so cool. And yet everybody in mind, is going, oh, China, they don't care. They're a bunch of communists. You got to get all that out of your head. Get it over with. You know, you don't know what's going on. You don't know who anybody is. That's massive. That's the size of a city. Now it's a solar generator. This alone can power 150,000 homes all at one time. This alone. It works. Doesn't matter what, Trump says. Now all this turns into jobs. California, this turned into 76,838 jobs. That's a lot. That's a lot of jobs. That's because in California, we have a strong incentive and we have an attitude consciousness toward enlightenment. We actually believe we're going to be enlightened. For whatever reason, it happens a lot in California. Yeah? And other states just go, oh, they're crazy. Why do they do that? I don't know. But in California, it seems natural. The longer you stay here, the more you think you're going to get enlightened. Yeah? So in reality, we are the most enlightened people in the United States. And from that, we have more job opportunities, we make more electric cars, we do more solar than anybody else, we create and manifest, solar situations, electrical situations, future situations of computers, software, everything comes out of this little state called California. Yeah? Yeah, so these are just jobs just in the solar industry, 76,838. But if you take that, and you go to Texas, I think this is Texas, yeah, Texas. Texas is a little behind, but they're catching up. 2,578. That's just in Houston. In Austin, 2,146. San Antonio, 1,743. Yeah. So each one of these places have growing opportunity. Yeah. Just because solar's coming in. Yeah. Now, this next couple of years, everybody's going to go, well, we have to have battery packs, power walls, along with our solar, and we need to add a little extra solar. Yeah, because it's cheaper and it's easier and it works. Everybody's finding out that it works and that they're saving a lot of money. Yeah, so they reinvest as time goes on rather than just let it set as it is. Yeah, so more reinvestment means more jobs. Yeah, more people have to make batteries. More people have to make solar panels. Yeah, and we don't want to be building these solar panels in Mexico and in China. We want to build these solar panels in America. And we're doing that. Largest solar company in America is owned by Elon Musk. But in Alabama, only 614. And that doesn't mean that nobody cares about Alabama. It's like male, female. Oh, I don't know why I'm not president. I don't know why I'm not running all the money or all the things, a male gender thing or female gender thing. Yeah. It's not that. It has to do with whether or not you took the opportunity to be trained for that position. Yeah. It'd be a large number of women in engineer jobs if a large number of women went to school to become engineers. Yeah. But very few women want to go to school to become engineers or to become doctors. And yet those are the things we need. Things we need. And that leads a lot of men down the wrong road too. They too are being moved away as though, not necessary. I don't need to be an engineer. I don't need to be a doctor. Yeah. But those are two major fields of reality that we as a human being, we have a hard side, we have a soft side. Yeah. And in service, these are the two areas we have to choose in our youth. That these are the places that we need to serve. Engineering or medicine. They're both the same. Just one is taking care of human beings, the other is taking care of the needs of human beings. Yeah? Does that make sense? I read that. Yeah? So there's fewer and fewer people actually taking that opportunity in Alabama. Yeah? Simply because their consciousness hasn't been developed from previous lives, not from this life, but previous lives. So all the opportunities are coming now. And everybody in 30 years is going to stop saying, oh, we got gender problems, because they all have been suppressed in previous lives. Doesn't matter whether it was a gender, or you were a baby, or you were a child, or you were what. You were suppressed. Yeah? When you came out of it, nothing about that life was good. Yeah? So that really becomes your next incarnation. And you have to work that out. And the only way it gets worked out is by healing the people that are suppressing you. Because you're not doing anything. Karmically, they do come back around. It's like a freaking movie. A very scary freaking movie. Yeah? You would think that, I was in that terrible life and all these horrible people did that to me. Da, da, da. Then you die and you reincarnate and you wait, go through 30 years and all of a sudden they start showing up again. In little forms and old forms, same people and same assholes, just littler and in different forms. Yeah? But they get you in the same way. Yeah? They affect you in the same way. Yeah? You could be reincarnating with a younger brother who used to be your father. And he died before you died. Yeah? Those relationships stay close. Yeah? We're not like we go delving way out there and reincarnate with somebody else in your life that you've never really had a relationship with. It's all from within relationships. Yeah? So this opportunity situation and the gap of humanity to see the revelation and see the opportunity that I'm applying into all this has to do with redemption. It's a science of redemption. I'm overwhelming humanity with all these opportunities in both fields, in science and mechanics. Yeah? Both fields. Yeah? So that we can actually work out and prove God exists slowly but surely as we go along. But at the same time, we're becoming more compassionate on one side because we're taking that fifth ray and we're using it for revelation and engineering and science and medicine. Yeah? And we're taking the strong energy of the second ray in medicine, also in engineering. Because imagine if you're strong in engineering, but yet you're a compassionate, heartfelt person, you're going to go, what can I do to make the world better? Rather than what can I invent to make myself known for being that inventor. Doesn't matter if it changes the world, it could even blow up the world. Yeah? Whatever. Just like Einstein. He was really sorry that he did what he did. Yeah? He could have kept that down to a much quieter scenario rather than his ego putting it out in order to better off somebody else. Yeah? That process was a process of many different things needed to be understood before a lot of things came out. Yeah? And everything is like that when you're in a state of competition, whether you're working with medicine or engineering. Yeah? The medicine becomes quackery. Yeah? It becomes a whole I'm a doctor, I'm this, I'm all that, and they don't know anything. But yet they're using as many of the skills of engineering in order to be a doctor. So in reality, in order to be a doctor, you have to pass through engineering. Yeah? You don't get to surgery, you don't get to pharmacology, you don't get to any of it. Yeah? Unless your mind has already passed through the process of engineering. And engineering comes from craftsmanship. Yeah? And the ability for a person to be a craftsperson, which every single person, if you can tie your shoes and write your name, you're a craftsperson. Yeah? True. If you can write your name, you'll see that your name is written different than anyone else's. Ha! You're a freaking artist. Yeah? You're a Van Gogh. It's true. You're just as Van Gogh as Van Gogh. Your signature is different than anybody else's signature. You're a Van Gogh. Does that make sense? But Van Gogh was crazy. Van Gogh was a pervert. Van Gogh was nuttier than a fruitcake. Yeah? And Van Gogh claimed to be an artist. And when a person claims to be an artist, they're suppressing all the nature in every living human being. When they claim to be an artist. Because an artist, there is no such thing as an artist. There's a craftsperson, a person who has skills, who develops it by honing their craft. Yeah? Whether you're writing something, you gotta learn to write better. You're just honing your craft. Doesn't make you a better artist. It just makes you readable. Yeah? And people can actually figure out what you're trying to say. Yeah? You know? And every skill, all of that moves you away from your first ray of thinking you're an artist. Because an artist is first ray, fourth ray. It's very, very sincerely bad. The outcome of art is the destruction of humanity through economy. Yeah? It takes what would be, we think money is what money is, you know. Oh, I have a dollar. I'm going to buy this bread. You know, I worked 2 hours and I got this dollar. You know, I earned that dollar. I take that dollar. I go to the store and I buy my bread. Yeah. And now I go work some more because I need some vegetables and I need some more things. So I'm going to work 3 more hours so I can take care of the people in the house. You know, now we have bread and we have butter and we have meat and we have da-da-da. But now I got to work a few more hours because we got to make sure we can pay the water bill. Yeah? And, oh, what about that electric bill? It's coming up. I got to pay it by the end of the week. So I better find another job. Yeah? That's reality. That's money. That's reality. That's money. Yeah? But then you get the artist who does nothing. Nothing. They sit alone. They're aloof. Alone and aloof. Alone and aloof. Study it. First ray, fifth ray. That's an artist. And they are pissed off. They go suicidal. Megalomaniac. You know? They're, you know, and then they tattoo themselves or they, you know, they maim themselves and they go through all these different things because in reality that fourth ray that's supposed to be down here at the base, yeah, is what they're messing with, which is nature. Nature is that the fact that you're not a delusionary, the first beginning of delusion of grandeur is a person who calls himself the artist, which was Lucifer. The prettiest of them all. The great artist. Yeah, the architect. Yeah. Does that make sense? So it's just a glamour. It's a glamour that comes from the first ray, the fourth ray, the first ray, the fifth ray, the first ray, the sixth ray, the first ray, the third ray, the first ray, and every ray. That's the artist. Yeah. And what do they reincarnate as? Dictators. They don't reincarnate as artists. They reincarnate as dictators. But almost every single one of those dictators is an artist. Yeah, they have the skills of an artist. They want to be an artist. Hitler wanted to be an artist. Yeah, you just follow it. Yeah, you'll see it's the nature of their past lives. And they developed it all by being totally 100% selfish and alone and aloof and angry and controlling and manipulative. Because maybe a long ago they were a king. And they had that first ray. And they wielded the power over everybody. And nobody had a relationship to life. Everybody was in God, the machine, which is the king. And when everybody thinks the king is God. Yeah? Does that make sense? So there isn't an artist who walks around that wasn't a previous life king or queen. who ruled this earth with demons. No angel would support a king or a queen. No angel. The Lord would not have anything to do with a king or a queen. God certainly has nothing to do with a king or a queen. Demons make kings and queens. Yeah? They embody them. They give them all the delusions of grandeur, and then that becomes culture. Because everybody becomes amassed by the king or queen's cultural whims. Yeah? Does that make sense? And all of a sudden, you're England. You're Italy. You're France. You're not human beings anymore. You're under the characteristic of an individual, a series of individuals who were kings and queens, one right after another. And they're in a hierarchical state of the kingdom of that group. So everybody is incarnated as a family under that king. And it's impossible to get out of it until it's all cleared and wiped away, and they stop coming back as artists. Now, the last artist, who was Hitler before this, came back again as the artist of the world. Yeah, Michael Jackson, the artist of the world. And everybody's just, he's the king of everything. He's the king of pop, he's the king of art, he's the king of, the whole bit. And all he was doing was just making it possible for homosexuality and perversion to externalize into the world over the reality that pedophilia has never been caught. You don't catch him. Yeah. And the only thing that is their closet is the closet of pedophilia. Yeah. Then once they do come out, you can't say any one of them is a pedophile, even though every one of them was a pedophile. Isn't that true? So that means, by law, you cannot say anything against the gay group because they have so much evil karma. They're in charge. And you have to tolerate it, and you can't say words of intolerance toward them because their demons are in charge of your tongue. The law. First ray. Does that make sense? And as long as you allow that to be submissive, it will veil your ability to ever hear my words. Even though I say them and you hear them, but you can't hear them until these demons are out of you. And they're in everybody, as long as there's kings and queens and gays. Yeah? Make sense? Yeah? Boy, imagine the shit I'd get in if this was on YouTube, huh? I tell you, they'd be shooting me outside. I got the law to kill that man. We did it before, we'll do it again. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just go to meditation and leave that one alone. But that is all true. You should not consider any of that. Okay. One of the things about when I do this invocation, I do the invocation so I can help align people's first ray to the second ray and to the third ray. Yeah, the energy of the power, the love, the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. Yeah, so when in doing that, and I do that a lot because it's on most of my pujas and stuff. Yeah, so when people do listen to that and hear that, it is like a major exorcism. Yeah, because it's calling upon rays that you have no control over whatsoever. You can have no control over the Holy Spirit. It has control over you. Yeah, but you got to let it in with the second ray. which comes through loving wisdom. Yeah. And then you got to let it through with the first ray, which could be your pride, or it could be your, just it's the ego. Whatever it is that makes a person habitual, it's the first ray. Because a person will always fight for their right to be an asshole, to remain the person they are, whether they're drunk or mean or whatever it is. Their first defense. Because it's just by nature that happens, because that's what's in there. It's holding on to the person, So it is an exorcism, and all my pujas are only exorcisms, but they actually redirect into a path to where, as you're being exercised, you're being blessed by mass number of angels that are just constantly doing a blessing over everything, But the thing is that there's this astral plane that goes on that keeps those blessings from getting anywhere near Earth. They're like just outside the moon. It's not in this sphere. That's why the planet's not a sacred planet. But once this astral plane is vibrationally changed, because we have an ashram, soul, and monad, and we have the power, the love, and the wisdom, in order to dispel it. It can't happen anymore, And everybody who incarnates knowingly reincarnates. That's one of the biggest factors of this reality of redemption, is that we all begin focusing on the fact that we are by guaranteed reincarnating. By guarantee. It's not a question, are we going to hell? It's not a question, are we going to go to heaven and see somebody? Old folks, dogs, cats, friends. Not that question. Nope. The only question is that there's no question whatsoever. When we die, we reincarnate, and that's all there is to it. And that way, we can begin working in sciences and technologies and advancements that helps us gain a better understanding of what that next incarnation is going to be like. Because we don't have any vision or telepathy to use these first three rays. It's these first three rays that cooperate with me and create reverence, create right relationship, create harmony in the base center. Those are all my centers, but they're being defiled by people being irreverent, by being out of relationship, by forcing what would be reverence up here in revealing, goes down into the sacral center, and then the person is constantly, it used to be where I'd say something and I'd be completely, no, I'm wrong, and I'd be in a debate, and I wouldn't even go to debate. I would just, not do anything, just deal with it, But that constant process is the third ray coming at you, because it's trying to create an enormous amount of weaves that it carries itself, that you don't carry. So by getting a person to not see themselves in the light, like hearing incredible brilliance come out of somebody like myself, that if listened to, you can get ahead in 1 year, 10 years, if you don't think anything I'm saying is wrong. And not even not wrong, but just you have a response to where the reactions of response to the Lord come from down here. They come up like that. But it used to be where they go down like this. So if I said something from here, it had a direct response to relationship. And relationship would go in their negative mind, it would be fifth ray. So their negative mind would immediately try and figure out what I just said. And then hold me to that, as though it was law. And I don't say anything like that. I say things spontaneously. And if you get to listen to me, then it all kind of weaves together as an understanding. But there is no, you got to be this, you got to do that, you got to like that. Yeah, because it's not fifth ray down in my sacral center. But when the negative energy goes down like that, it tries to push the fifth ray down, which is in effect trying to make me not be enlightened. So I have to just be quiet, and then I keep staying enlightened. I keep saying something, but it's the Holy Spirit that's resonating with me, and my heart that's resonating with me, and I'm responding to myself, not to the person. Does that make sense? That's really important, because I would have never gotten on the cross and resurrected if that wasn't the case. My good blessings, my relationship to this earth brought that back around. The horrible scenario prior, certainly brought me down and killed me, But if you have what I have, it will come back like this, and you'll be resurrected, and you'll regenerate, and it'll happen all the time, The thing is that in this earth, there is a tendency to where there is no ashram, you have no power, and you have no love, and you can't really experience what it is to have that. You can think it in your mind, your emotions, and a belief system, but you can't really know what it is to have that, because it really requires that influence to go into this spin, So in this invocation, I invoke that, but then I also invoke to clarify and stimulate your mind, so that next time I say something, you won't react like that, because I'm the only teacher on earth. The only teacher. It may sound strange, but it is the only truth. Everybody else can go, and I get thinned out. Sounds like very common knowledge. But most of the time, people are just repeating or expressing, but with no understanding from it, just by pride alone. Oh, I knew that. Oh, yeah. Things like that. And that is because there's a lot more to this wisdom than just the information you got. It's just tidbits. But in the process of this world, by teaching, there's this constant relationship of interaction of it coming back like that, it then pulls it back down. And when it does that, it's always using the first ray. It never uses any other ray. It uses the first ray to bring things down. So that's why when people get aggressive, if they defend, they're competing and then they defend, and they're competing and then they attack, that is only first ray. There's not another ray that does it. But it's only because the solar plex is so strong in that person. That's the only way that they can react. They can't react from their heart because they've been pulling their heart down by personal conversations they have with themselves and thought forms with other people, and just all this down, see the world in this way, see situations in this way. It's all coming from these lower chakras that are not connected to the higher chakras that would tell the person differently. The world is not like this. Because the Lord's up here and everybody else is down here. Does that make sense? I read that. So these invocations is to transmute my feelings and emotions, to heal my physical and etheric body, for normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body, and to bring one to the Christ. So that's the only way that I know of to heal these disjointed situations with kings and queens. Because there's been so many kings and queens, and you're so blind to them when they reincarnate because of blind devotion. They change. Like you got King Hitler, and who did you have before that? And then what about Mussolini? Who was this one? What's that one? All these different dictators. Come, and you get a king, and that king dies, and another one comes up, or a queen comes up, takes that position. None of them are very good. Most of them are just human beings that are nuts. And it doesn't matter what hierarchy you're in, whether or not you're the Dalai Lama, or you're the president, or the CEO of, GE. the delusion of grandeur still builds in those positions, and that makes it really hard for them to have any interest toward the people who they serve. They don't serve them. So nobody gets a raise, nobody gets vacations, nobody gets paid properly, everybody pays taxes. If you're a king and queen, you got to be given money rather than give. Yeah? Does it make sense? So it's all those processes that are happening on those levels that come into people that block any understanding or any energy that comes from the first, second, and third ray. Yeah? So these invocations are to instill that, but it's to stimulate and to heal and to transmute that process of the problems that we got. And then that brings about, wow, we got electric cars. Wow, how'd that happen? Wow. Because I'm actually exercising demons. Yeah? And it's those demons that keeps you from even understanding, let alone helping the thought form building process for this to take place. Because as it's happening, it's a shock. You know what I mean? Electric cars are really happening. They're already driving themselves. Ooh, I haven't even driven a car in the last 10 years. Oh, wow. There's not going to be any cars that don't drive themselves. Oh, they're not even coming with steering wheels. Whoa, no. It's true. They're asking people today, Uber's delivering cars and they're coming on their own without any steering wheel, brakes, nothing like that. They're just going to show up with a person sitting in the seat. And they're not going to do anything. They're like texting people, Arabian, talking to somebody in Arabian as usual. I guess they just call Iraq and say, we need more drivers. It's a funny world. It's a funny world. Doesn't matter where you go, it's all the same. Anyway, I should be a comedian. So let's just do meditation. Okay. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan. I invoke the alignment of the 7 rays. Take a deep breath. 7 chakras. I invoke the alignment of the 3rd ray. To your throat center. I invoke the alignment of the 7th ray. To your sacral center. I invoke the alignment of the 2nd ray to your heart center. I invoke the alignment of the 6th ray to your solar plexus. I invoke the alignment of the 1st ray to your crown center. I invoke the alignment of the 4th ray to your base center. I invoke the alignment of the 5th ray to your brow center. I invoke the light of the Christ within. I invoke the nature of the Buddha that you are to become. I invoke the mind of the Davic angelic beingness that you can be. sounds of heaven,
sounds of love,
the sounds of God, the song of love. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. So the work that I do focuses on this one tool, the etheric weaver. Yeah. And the etheric weaver, it is what it is. It's called an etheric weaver. Yeah. And the purpose of the etheric weaver is to hone in on the reality of the soul. Everything has a soul. Yeah, your automobile has a soul, even though before it used to be aluminum and all these different metals. But as it's formed and it's put to purpose, the moment it is put to purpose, it has attained soul. Yeah? Go to Japan. Yeah, you'll learn everything I just said is the key to everything in the understanding of nature. Yeah, that nature's not just the leaf that comes off, and the things that we see from the lakes and the rivers and the birds and the bees, but it's the very nature in things, objects, things you might make, things that may be useful for other people. A cup, porcelain, all kinds of things that through craft we moved through technology, through technique, the honing of technique, which brought us to, in every culture, in every land, those techniques were the focus of the human being. The archetypal aspect of the human being, whether it be the enormous monuments of temples that were built and how they got built, we don't know. But they did it. What a focus that must have been for those human beings at that time. And that's the craft that I'm talking about. Throughout time, throughout civilization, we have on this earth masses of things that are left behind that we think the Aztecs built. We think the Mayans built. But if you go and study what they said this was here before we got here. We just found it, and we thought God made it, and we thought, it's got to be from extraterrestrials or something, because this isn't anything we could have done. So even though that was 8,000-10,000 years ago, where we think this Mayan or Aztec race or these groups of people or even the Egyptians built those things, somewhere along the line they were built. Somewhere along the line humanity was raised to the consciousness on a mass level that abolished artists. People who thought they were individual artists, so nobody else would seek to do such a thing, because they think they're specifically gifted and they say so much about themselves and they declare themselves as so gifted, that you can't do anything but pay a lot of money for their gift that they give, rather than teaching other people how to do the same thing and make a lot of things that would be very productive for other people, which becomes industry. And that's the same process without the attitude of being an artist. All of a sudden something becomes massive, collective, and can help other people, while the artist is sitting there doing one painting at a time and pissed off and poor. And, because of that delusion of grandeur, it's stuck into people who carried over that psychic thought of this person being something. So after they're dead, Picasso becomes really famous, all these people become really famous, but they're only part of their astral plane of being an artist. Since the artist is dead, now we can't praise the artist anymore, and these are the only paintings the artist has got. So we're going to make a fortune off the artist. Yeah, having nothing anymore to do with the artist, but having to do with the ability to make a fortune off this guy. And you want to make as many artists as you can so that you can create an art gallery. Yeah? And you can then make kings and queens think that they need this art. Yeah? So the King of England has the biggest gallery of art. Yeah? And most of the artists, whether it be Michelangelo or others, were all commissioned by kings and queens and popes. People who own the land, who own the people, who had the money, and they were under the delusion that this is necessary. Yeah? So all of a sudden we get all these statues and all these paintings and all this crap. It's going around, but we do not evolve in technology. Yeah? And yet at the same time, we have someone like Leonardo da Vinci who's creating airplanes. We could have flown during that time. But the artists kept it from happening. And the people who commissioned the artist were kings and queens and popes and other rich people who were dictators. Because when the dictators came, what did they do? They ran around collecting all the art. Yeah? Because they knew that this is going to be worth a freaking fortune. Yeah. And talismans, whatever was of people honed in on as being something really good. Yeah. Yeah. So most everything is imperiled with this delusion of grandeur that's put upon everything. So then us people, we do not see objects, people, other people, places, or things as souls. Yeah? That's why I'm constantly saying, you need to see the blessing of the Lord. It is the soul. It's the soul that you think I got a soul. Well, yeah, but it's all around you. Yeah? And it's coming at you fast. And in order for you to get it, you have to cooperate with it and appreciate it coming at you because it's outside of you and a part of you. Yeah? So all of a sudden you become eco-friendly. Yeah? Because it's the soul. It's not soullessness. It's not industry that's ripping you off and ripping the planet off. It's not kings and queens and other people that are doing terrible, terrible things, pushing you forward to do the same things. That's soullessness. And everything that was built in that city called Chicago, that city called New York, that city called LA, is without soul. Does that make sense? Yeah. And as we become a soul, all of a sudden, we find those things aren't necessary. We don't need this lavish living. We don't need a high rise. We don't need a bank that is 100 stories tall and owns all the money in the world. Yeah. We need to find out what's real. And the more we find out through loving wisdom, yeah, the more we move through this ashram and gain the soul with all the things coming at us. 90% of these things that are running today won't have an income to run on. Just like Amazon. He knows he's going to go out of business because people are going to become much more spendthrift. Yeah? And they're going to buy more locally. Yeah? It's just going to happen. He knows it's going to happen. And he knows his business is going to end. Yeah? So he's doing everything he can to take advantage as much as he possibly can to get as much as he possibly can in the short time that he's got to do it in. Yeah. And that's the same with GM, Ford, other people that are doing things that other people will not want anymore. Yeah. They're not going to do it. Yeah, because in 10 years, 15 years, people are not going to have that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 job. They're going to accept a $35,000 job. Yeah, with a house that's only $500 a month or less. Yeah, and that means they're not going to have that enormous spending money that they would have in their credit card constantly because they have a $65,000 a year job. So they buy from Amazon over and over and over and over. Yeah, quick spending. Or go to the mall. Quick spending. Yeah, that was the 70s, the 80s. Yeah, and we lost our homes, everything, all screwed up. None of that was for us. None of that was soulful. Yeah, we're now entering the phase where the soul begins, and that's in 2020 on. Yeah, so enjoy your weavers.